Hey everybody, it's Keegan here. I'm back with another video for you guys, and it's time for another movie review video once again. And today we're going to be talking about 3 movies this time, all of which I saw in theaters over the past week. So let's not waste any more time and let's talk about them. So the first film we're going to be talking about is The Seed of the Sacred Fig by director Mohammad Rosalov. And I saw this film in theaters last Monday, and I thought it was great. Now, this film was made entirely in secret because, as most of you probably know, Iran has some issues with censorship laws and stuff, and it's known for being one of the most strict countries in the world when it comes to censorship. And the director got in trouble for speaking out against the Iranian government's raiding of protesters houses and stuff, and the treatment of the protesters and stuff, which is kind of one of the subjects for this film. And so the film had to be done completely in secret, and the director managed to flee the country to attend the film's screening at the Cannes Film Festival to avoid serving an 8-year prison sentence along with some flogging and stuff as part of his sentence. So the fact that this film had to be made in secret is really impressive, and how they managed to do it while keeping a low profile from the Iranian government was really impressive too. I know this isn't the only film in Iran that had to be filmed in secret. There was a documentary film called This Is Not a Movie, where the director was serving a sentence in house arrest when he made that film. I've actually never seen that film, but it's one I do want to check out. So I figured, since this was a film that had to be made in secret, I figured I would mention that film in this video. But we're going to get to the story quickly, and then we'll get into my thoughts on it. So let's take a dive into The Seed of the Sacred Fig. Basically, in this film, you got a judge and his family living through a time of unrest in Iran after a young woman was killed by the Iranian authorities, and then there are people protesting against the government's treatment of the protesters. And the judge's daughters have a friend who was one of the protesters who gets arrested by the government, and they're trying to figure out what happened to her to see if she's okay. And then the judge's handgun goes missing, and he's trying to find out who took the handgun. Otherwise, he would get in big trouble. He would get into some serious trouble if the government knows he misplaced his firearm, which is against the rules of his job. So there's paranoia, there's conflict, and all in all, that's basically what the story is about in a nutshell without giving away too much. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was really well made and had some really good acting. And the director did a really good job on making this film entirely in secret to avoid getting into trouble with the Iranian government. And the film even combines some real life footage that were used in some protests against the Iranian government. And a lot of the footage that was used in the movie is some pretty disturbing stuff, because there's actual dead bodies you see in the footage that was shown in the film. And it's a pretty long movie too. It's 2 hours and 48 minutes, which the runtime doesn't really bother me, but the only issues I have with this film is that I feel the ending could have been a little bit better done. The ending kind of just abruptly ends out of the blue, and I think the movie could have been a few minutes shorter, like probably at least 5, maybe 10 minutes shorter, but that's just me. But all in all, I thought this was a great film. I haven't seen any of Mohammad Rosalov's other films, but I might check out some of his other films in the future. But all in all, I thought this was a great film, and I recommend it. And it's one of the few films that's been nominated for Best International Feature at this year's Oscars. So, yeah, if this film interests you, then check it out. I recommend it, and I'm giving The Seed of the Sacred Fig an 8 out of 10. The next film I saw was Universal Language by director Matthew Rankin, and this is a Canadian film. This is a film I've been wanting to check out for quite some time. I remember going to see I saw the trailer for it when I went to go see Queer back in December, and when the Metro Cinema was doing a screening of it, well, there was actually multiple screenings of it. The first screening actually had the director at the screening and did a Q&A session after it. I was going to go to that screening, but I didn't go to it for some reason, so I missed out on that. But I went to go see it on Thursday of last week, and I thought this movie was fantastic. And I thought this was a really well-made film and a movie that I highly recommend. Now, the storyline is kind of difficult for me to explain. There's 3 different storylines that are in the film but are not really connected to each other in some way, at least. But it's not like an anthology film or anything. It's just got 3 unconnected storylines that occur within the film, but it's not like an anthology film like Kinds of Kindness or anything like that. But I thought this was a really interesting film. I kind of went into this movie blindly despite seeing the trailer, and I came out of the theater completely blown away, and I thought this film was fantastic. It was really well made. It was pretty strange. Well, not the strangest movie I've seen, but it was kind of weird. It was funny, and all in all, it was definitely quite an interesting film to watch, and one that I would highly recommend you check out. It might or might not be for everybody, but I personally loved it, and I definitely do look forward to seeing what Matthew Rankin comes up with next. But all in all, I thought Universal Language was a fantastic film that I highly recommend, and is definitely a work of art, so to speak. But yep, I really enjoyed it and highly recommend it. Anyways, I'm giving Universal Language a 9 out of 10. And the last film we're going to be talking about in this video is the 1975 film Picnic at Hanging Rock. This film is directed by Peter Weir, who also directed films like The Truman Show and Dead Poets Society. Both of those I've reviewed in the past. And this film is an adaptation of the 1967 novel of the same name, which was written by Joan Lindsay. I've never read the novel it was based on, but maybe one day I'll give it a read. Who knows? This movie's been on my watch list for a long time. I've been wanting to check it out for quite some time. And when I found out that the Metro Cinema was going to be doing a screening of it, I decided to go ahead and check it out. And I thought this movie was great. I actually saw this movie back to back with Blue Velvet, which I already talked about Blue Velvet on this channel. I reviewed that movie 2 or 3 years ago. If you want to see that review, it's on my channel if you want to check it out. But again, I saw this movie back to back with Blue Velvet. Anywho, the film takes place on St. Valentine's Day in the year 1900 in Australia. And you got an all-girls college who all go out for a picnic one afternoon at a place called Hanging Rock. And by the end of the day, one of the teachers and 3 of the students all go missing without a trace. And everybody at the nearby town start to look for the girls and figure out what happened to them and where did they go and why they didn't return to the college. It's a pretty simple storyline. It's pretty intriguing in my opinion. I really enjoyed this film for what it was. I thought it was great. It was well acted. It was well made. And I thought Peter Weir did a great job directing it, and all the performances were all pretty good. Although, I think by the second or third half of the film, it kind of dragged on a little bit. That's my only issue with the film. It kind of drags on a little bit, but I still really enjoyed this film for what it was. I don't really have too much to say about it. I finally crossed it off the watch list, and I thought it was pretty great for the most part. I really enjoyed it. Although, I felt it could have been a little better with the second half, but the first half was really good for the most part. And I know there was a 2018 remake of this movie, although it was a mini-series on Prime Video that had Natalie Dormer in it and Samara Weaving. I hear that one's not all that great, but maybe I'll give it a watch one day. But I really enjoyed the film for what it was, and I'll probably check out the novel it was based on one of these days as well. Anyways, I don't have anything else to add, so I'm giving Picnic at Hanging Rock an 8 out of 10. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, comment below, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more videos. More videos will be coming out soon, so stay tuned for more. Anyways, you guys, that's all I got to say. So thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you all later. Have a good one, everybody. Peace. Bye-bye.